All right, guys, so we've now moved on in our journey with Abram and Lot, and last week Lot selected the good land that was by the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, and there were actually 5 cities in that valley. He selected it because it was beautiful to him, and he thought it looked like the land of Egypt, which he had a taste of when Abram, in his lack of faith, had taken Lot there in that whole story where he lied about Sarai. So here we are now. Everybody has settled down. Lot is comfortable. He's got his tent set up near the city of Sodom, and his animals are doing well. His shepherds and his herdsmen are happy, and everybody's enjoying their time. But all of a sudden, a conflict comes on the horizon. And what happens is a king who had been a ruler over like 15 cities comes into this land and has been demanding money from them. And as a result of that, several of them decided to rebel against that and to not pay their taxes that year. And so when they did this, that king went out. Let me tell you his name, actually. The king's name was Cheddar Lamore. Sounds like someone from Wisconsin with the name Cheddar. But anyways, Cheddar Lamore comes and makes an alliance with 3 other kings. And so the 4 of them begin to go about to punish all of the cities that stopped paying him taxes. And in 1 year's time, we see them go and just destroy a bunch of kingdoms. And now they come to the valley where Lot lives. And there, the 5 kingdoms get together and decide to go out into the mountains to fight this battle with the 4 kings who are coming in. And as they go to fight the battle, they suddenly recognize that they are not going to win this fight. And so they all start to scatter and to run. And in the process of scattering and running, the Bible tells us that there were a lot of tar pits there, and several people fell into them. And so they were probably destroyed in that process, but several others escaped into the hills. But this left their cities wide open. And so the king walked down, and they just took all of the possessions and all of the things from those cities, including one really rich man named Lot. And so they took Lot and all of his servants and all of his family, and they took him into captivity. Well, we find Abram now in the story, and this is really the first time where we see where Abram has settled down and where he is. And so Abram has actually settled down, and it says that he has made allies with the surrounding herdsmen and the surrounding farmers who are there. And so Abram is comfortable, he's settled down, things are going well, when all of a sudden somebody comes out and says, your nephew Lot has been captured. And Abram's response is immediate, and it's awesome. Abram gathers his army, his huge army of 318 men, and decides to go out and take on these 4 kings who have conquered all these other nations. And so Abram goes out with his 318 men, and we don't know the whole story of how it happened. We don't have a great description of how it happened. All we see is that at the end, he comes back, returns with Lot and all of the things that belong in the valley of Sodom and Gomorrah and all of the surrounding kingdoms. So that's the story, and that's where we stop with our story today. And so I just want to go through some of the application questions and just some ways we could really talk about these things. Here's the first thing. I think it'd be good for us to list out the offenses that Lot has done to Abram to this point in the story. I mean, here we have Lot, who doesn't show any respect for the family relationship that is there. I mean, naturally, the nephew should show respect to the uncle. But when choosing the land, Lot didn't do that. Lot doesn't show any respect for the contribution that Abram had made to his wealth. No doubt Lot had gained an intense amount of wealth because of Abram's wealth. He didn't even seek out the counsel of God or his uncle when he decided to settle in the valley by Sodom and Gomorrah. He just went ahead and did it. He only thought of himself. That was it. He thought, wow, that looks lush, that looks nice, I want to go there, and he went there. And one of the other big crimes is that Lot chose to ignore the sinfulness of the land where he was about to settle instead of seeking the God of Abram and choosing to follow him. So what are some of the responses that Abram could have had to Lot when he heard that Lot was captured? I think a lot of times when we hear stories of people who have wronged us and they have something bad happen in their life, it's easy for us to kind of rejoice in those moments. And so here's just some thoughts I was thinking about. Abram could have easily said, well, he deserved it. If he wouldn't have settled there in the first place, he wouldn't have had this problem. He could have been like me and settled out here and been totally happy. Or he could have said something along these lines. God said that I will curse those who curse me, so he should have thought of that before he went around cursing me. He could have said, I hope he learns his lesson. He could have said, oh good, now his land's open. I can go move there and graze my sheep and my cows there as well. But we see though that Abram instead jumps right up, gathers up his huge army, 318 men, and goes out. This shows an example of his faith in God. Just think about this. What could have happened to Abram and his army of 318 people in this effort to rescue Lot and all of the wickedness from Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, he could have been killed. He could have been captured and put into captivity for some time to come. He could have potentially left and had his family taken away from him as soon as he had left. But instead, this showed his faith to stay true to the promises of God. Then here's the last question, and I really want you to spend time in your small group talking about this specifically, but how should we respond when we hear about our brother or sister in Christ who has fallen into a bad situation? What about if they've wronged you? How should you respond? What about even if they had it coming to them? You see, I think we need to do a better job of wanting to rescue those who need rescuing. That's a lesson we can learn this week from the story of Abram and Lot. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.